Hi, I'm Jamie.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Adam.
And we are here today to really take a deeper dive into the online review topic. So, reputation management is what we call it, and specifically on the student housing front. So, all of you that are in student housing, we have an expert here. Adam is with Campus Advantage, and we really want to have open conversation about the online process, but also like how reviews really impact the operation. So they can impact leasing, so new leases, it can impact resident retention, the customer experience. And so that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah. Adam, when you were, on property as a manager, dealing with the staff that you had to watch, be on the front lines of managing the residents and meeting expectations, how did you gauge that reputation, offline and online when it came to the feedback that you got from residents about the people that you were working with and that were working for you?
Yeah, I think when I was a general manager, we didn't have all the cool things we have now with the platforms that we have in place. But, we would just kind of deal with a review as they came in, and we didn't really have a plan in place to kind of attack those. And I know a lot of times for me, I took it very personal because, as a general manager, you put your blood, sweat, tears, life into that community, and to have a resident, bash you or act frustrated, you do take it personal. And so, I think that's important to keep in mind is number one, don't take it personal. But for the offline reviews, we would do a customer satisfaction survey every year. And one year I noticed that our scores were lower than normal. And so I'm like, what is this about? Because we do really great events and we're friendly. And so I started watching my staff and myself. And what I realized is that those residents that we really liked, we would go above and beyond. And so we would see them coming from a ways away, and we'd go get their package or their mail. And but those residents who we'd ever had an altercation with, or maybe we just didn't even really know, wasn't even anything negative, but we just didn't know who they were, we were much more kind of standoffish. And so I made a conscious effort to treat everyone the same and, make sure that they felt like they were important. And it really helped us year over year. And I would say now, one of the things that we have great at Campus Advantage is that kind of plan to kind of manage our reputation and how important it is that it's not just online, it's also offline. We think about the different feedback we get, and one of the things I tell our teams all the time is that a review, whether it's through an email or a phone call or online, is an opportunity to improve. Those reviews hold the keys to success for your community, rather than just beating you down. And it's hard not to take it personal.
Right. We had a conversation in our last video about that very topic, and just really sharing with everyone that it is when we love the positives and we can deal with the neutrals, but when it's negative, it can, kind of go straight to the gut, and it stings. And so that we shared a few tips about how to really take that offline. But what is your perspective just of taking that offline and helping to create, to your point, relationship?
Well, again, the thing we tell our staff all the time is that just asking for positive reviews, it may increase your scores or whatever your metrics you're looking at, but it's not going to fix the heart of the issue. And so we really want to look at the problems that we're seeing and the trends in our reviews or in our comments or online, and really attack those issues. And, we always say it starts in the office. It starts with the management team. It starts with our CAs knowing their residents and building that personal relationship with them. And I always tell a manager, if you get a review, get up off your hiney and go knock on their door. That's the great thing about our world is that our customers live a few feet away. And so we don't have to go track them down to find out what they think about us. They're going to tell us, and we can knock on their door. And so anytime we're seeing a really big issue come through, those reviews that are 3 or 4 paragraphs long and they are thought out and they have meticulous points, don't wait around for them and say contact the office. We say go be proactive and go knock on their door, sit down in their living room, in their home, have a conversation and make a plan with them on how to correct that. And you see that oftentimes when you do that and it's corrected their satisfaction, you're creating an ally for your brand, for your community, and they'll renew, they'll tell their friends. I mean, one of the things that we know is that over 50% of our residents have heard about their community from a friend. And so
Yeah.
us taking care of them
Yeah.
helps them tell people about our community.
Yeah, we're dealing with students, and these students have access to multiple portals of how to get in touch with they're intelligent, they have a point that they want to make, and if it didn't work in the office, what's the next step? They're going to take it online so that everybody else can see it. They want to air out their dirty laundry per se, and what I think a good thing that you brought up is like the access that you have, especially in student housing, is that ability to like look at that person and say, I understood what you said, I heard you, these are problems that we see ourselves that we'd like to fix. And it's a really big, obstacle for some to see that as an opportunity rather than an obstacle, because we have so much feedback coming in for student housing so often, and the best thing we can do is put it in front of you in a reasonable manner, that it does come off as emotional, it's frustrating, the truth can be skewed in the review and everything, but ultimately what it comes down to is diving in with that person rather than just taking it on ourselves.
Don't avoid it, right? Those tough conversations are just that, they're tough, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like finding a $20 bill in your pocket.
Right.
It's serendipitous a little bit. Like, oh, this person, I viewed as this person cared enough about your community to tell you the issues. Right. If they didn't care at all, they would just be, they would silent in the night and be gone. A Lee Cockle, a great customer service guy who ran Disney for years, he's famous for saying, you lose customers one at a time. And so those reviews are one at a time opportunities to make things right and really win those people back. Just because they leave a review saying they hate us doesn't mean that they're actually done with us. They've taken the time to spell out the issues, and they expect and are looking for a response.
Right. And I think many times what we see is when we take that time to go have a personal conversation, so taking it offline, not calling, not just emailing or texting, but actually sitting down, working through the issue, and creating a solve. Many times we see the review is changed. They're willing to change the review to reflect, hey, the property took time to care about my situation. It was solved, and now I'm reposting and I'm providing a higher review because they took the time to care and show a 5-star customer experience.
That that's a big advocacy for being proactive. To your point, when you were a GM and there wasn't all these access to these tools, you guys had to be reactive the whole time and only diagnose these problems as they came in. Now there's tools in place that we can actually go to these people that are already happy and have them be an advocate for that happiness that they've gotten through our customer service, and in turn change those negative reviews around so that we have something to show in terms of progress online for a potential resident to see. It's so much nicer to see a review, like the progress of it and the response and the reply and the review itself online, when in reality, we as readers of those reviews only get that quick snapshot. We don't see the whole story, so the most we can do is put a frame around the best possible situation and change the negative into a positive.
Well, I think it's important to note too that our customers, they're smart, right? And so they look at these reviews and they're looking for, did the community respond? Did they just blame the person? And they also can tell the difference between an actual legitimate problem and someone who's just ranting. Our studies have shown us. And when you look at those reviews and there's no punctuation and it's all caps and like, okay, this person probably just ranting. But then those well thought out reviews that are meticulous in the points, that speaks. And so the customer is really looking to see, did the community address this? Is this an ongoing issue? Right? And they make those decisions based off of that. And so, I'm so thankful for all the tools we have in place now. That's one thing I can say about us at Campus Advantage, is that we want to be on the forefront. Reputation is so important because it is a cycle, right? People see your reputation online. They make a decision whether to lease or not. We deliver the experience. That in turn either promotes or prompts them to generate a positive review or a negative review, and that cycle just starts over and over again. And so attacking that. It's a very aggressive word, but I think you do need to. You need to attack it, and
because the reverse is playing defense the whole time.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. And so, if any way we can play offense is great. You know, we get all the questions all the time. How do I improve my score? And it is, you know, we do want to get those positive reviews, but we just want to deliver a great experience.
Right.
And that's what we see. We're not selling an apartment. We're not selling a bed space. We're selling an experience,
Right.
and the residents are looking for that. And just providing, you know, a bed space with furniture and a place to sleep at night is not going to cut it in this day and age.
No, it's not home.
Yeah.
Well, to shift gears a bit, Mark, you had mentioned being reactive.
Yeah.
Versus proactive. And so I wanted to take a moment and provide some key tips for all of you with the big question, well, when should I be asking for reviews? When are good times? When residents are happy or enjoying maybe an event, or we've just had a really good tour experience, but Adam, based on your experience, what are some of those opportunities for staff members to really get engaged and start asking proactively for a review?
Well, I think the first step is to build those relationships with those residents, because then you know, without prompting them, whether or not they're having a positive experience or not. And we always tell our teams, reach out to those residents whom you know are advocates for you and ask them to leave a review. Now, we are very careful to say we don't ask them to leave a positive review. We don't give them money to incentivize it.
Right.
We say, if you're having a good experience, we want to know about it. Another area is tours is a great example, and I know some of our communities have really taken this and run with it and seen some massive improvements in their reputation with just saying, hey, my name's Adam. If I gave a great tour, would you mind going on Google or Facebook and leaving us a review about the tour? If you mention my name, it helps me out a lot. And it creates that personal connection.
Right.
And then you start to see which of your leasing agents or your community assistants who are really taking this to heart. And so sometimes we incentivize our staff as opposed to incentivizing the residents to say, hey, the staff with the most number of reviews, mentioning their name is going to get a gift card, or you're going to get an extra something this month. And so we've seen that be really successful. And then, of course, at our events, that's one of the things that we're known for is our monthly experiences, and we put a lot of time and effort into those. And so it is a requirement that at every one of our experiences that our team members are asking people to leave a review about that specific event. And so I think that does a couple of things. The tour one gives the prospect or future resident a glimpse at what the process is going to be like. It takes away some of the fright. It's sometimes scary if you're touring a property and you don't know about it. It's a little bit scary, especially if your parents aren't around the first time.
Your first apartment.
Yeah, and then so you can look at the reviews and see that Mark's name is mentioned a ton of times. Like, okay, Mark seems to be giving good tours. Maybe I'll ask for him.
Right. And
the events get to see, from the perspective of the resident, what it's going to be like for me to live there, and all these great things are going on. And so having a good online reputation is also good marketing for your community.
Right, and I think, to your point about, asking, I know if anyone has ever asked me to leave a review, whether it's been a restaurant, a salon, I'm happy to.
Sure.
I want, if I have a relationship with that individual, I've had a good experience, I'm excited to, because I want to help them.
Yeah. I called Microsoft yesterday, and the person helped me out. It was a driver issue, and it wasn't even Microsoft related. They went to the manufacturer website and downloaded it and said, hey, you're going to get a survey. It would help me out, if you would leave it. And so I'm actually looking for that survey in my email now, because they did a great job.
Right.
And they helped me, and I'm willing to go a little bit above and beyond and put a little effort into that because they created that personal connection, and they delivered great service.
It's important, too, like, the thing that you keep saying is that they're asking for feedback. It's not positive. It's not negative.
Right.
They just want you to talk about your experience. And I think to the second point about not just being reactive all the time, being proactive about changing our scores, getting that good reputation online, is diagnosing those issues that you have seen. If students are complaining about a broken hot tub year round, that's something that we should probably change, or at least look into. If we can't operate it, then maybe we need to get rid of it and make this vocal. Maybe we need to tell people about the thing that we changed so that they understand when they're, potentials, tours coming through, they're not going to bring up this hot tub every time because it's the only thing that shows up in your reviews.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we kind of rolled out this year with kind of our customer service platform and our standards is that, own it.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
if you see something in your community that's not working right, own it. Speak up till somebody says something, because those things do show up on your reviews, and they
Oh,
show
yeah.
up in your resident feedback. And so, you know, it's super important. I think, you know, if there were anything that you could leave with someone, like a tidbit of information, it would be have a plan.
Yeah.
Have a plan to address your reputation, both online and offline, in your staff meetings. Talk about it. Have it on the forefront of your you know, culture at your community, because it is so important. And it's been a couple of years since I've been in a general manager seat, and even in those few years, that world has changed so much.
Right, it does.
The
Quickly.
reviews being left. There's so many different review sites out there, and there's so many different ways for people to leave their thoughts and opinion.
Right.
And then I always tell our staff, love your residents. Right? I know it's like, oh, touchy feely, but really love your residents, because at the end of the day, we don't have a job if we don't have those heads on
Right.
beds.
Right.
And so it's important for us to make sure that
Yeah.
it's preserve the asset, but preserve the people.
Right.
You know, behind every person or behind every problem is a person. And so love those people and have a plan to help them have a great experience.
It's true, and I know, to your point, Adam, just the main point here is have a plan and put a focus on a reputation management program. And I know one of the big value propositions that Campus Advantage and Catalyst, you know, in working together, Mark and Adam have had an opportunity to not really only just tackle online reviews. And share tips and tricks on how to continue to improve that review process, but you have data that you sit down on a monthly basis with general managers and can go through, so they can see some top categories of commentary and how that can be improved upon. So if there's a consistent message about, you know, maintenance concerns or an amenity being broken, you know, that's being discussed and being addressed, and everyone feels like they're part of the team to increase that customer experience. So I don't know if you guys want to comment about the value of that process.
It's all there. You know,
is.
I mean, in every video, we'll probably end up saying this to a redundant effort, but it is, you know, this information, especially in student housing. I mean, they're not going to shy away from how they feel about a specific aspect of your property, of your staff, of your operations. It's all there, and our goal, you know, as a combined effort, is to make sure that those things that are being said are easy to read, they're easy to diagnose, it's easy to go forward and say, you know, we know who this resident is, we want to make this experience better for not just them, but for the whole community. You know, I think reputation management, having a plan and having that standard set of, you know, these are the 3 things that this company will always stand by no matter what. So that way, you know, you guys aren't just a boulder falling down a cliff the whole time wondering when it's going to stop. You know, this creates a cohesive brand of people that are, you know, it's Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. We have that build of, you know, this is who we are as people, and the insights that we pull from these reviews, they're priceless.
Well, I mean, it's real time change and progress. You know, I read every review that comes through for every single one of our communities, positive or negative. And I noticed that there were a couple of reviews coming through for this particular community who typically has good reviews. And so I was able to look back at our data and found out that they had an extensive number of, you know, not positive reviews in a specific amount of time. And I was able to pull that data and give it to the vice president of operations and say, hey, we've got a problem here. We jumped on a call the next day, ended up getting them approved for an additional maintenance tech to take care of that issue. Within 48 hours of addressing the issue, we had a solution for the problem, and now they're starting to see that benefits. And so they're not all Cinderella stories like that, unfortunately. it's you know, when it comes to operations and money, the money is not always there, but at least being able to identify the problem and put together a solution, the data behind that is priceless, I would say.
Sure. Right. And you always make a point to me that budget can't drive operations. That's something that you always say to me. And I think with reviews, you're absolutely right. There's not always that, you know, well, we don't have $2,000 to throw at a problem, but the most we can do is communicate with that resident about being transparent. We'd love to fix this problem. This is something that we're looking into.
We got a plan.
We have a plan. It's better than silence or just saying
or ignoring
come by the office.
Right.
They're not going to respond to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot ignore those reviews.
Yeah, you can't.
And don't tell them to come to you. They left a review. That's them coming to you.
Right.
Now it's
they
up
already
to
came
us.
to you. Yeah.
It's up to us to go to them, seek them out. To I don't want to say make them feel weird, but go find them. Go knock on their door
Right.
and be persistent because, again, that is a customer who's taken time out of their day to tell you the issues that they see with your business, with your community, that would make it better.
They wanted to be heard.
They
Yeah.
want
You
to be
heard
heard.
them.
And sometimes it's those things where they just want to vent, you
Right.
know? And I see it all the time.
Don't we all?
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's one of those things where it starts in the office or with an email to our community team members, and that gets ignored. And then they call, and then they say, oh, the manager's busy, and so they call again, the manager's still busy, and the third time they call, the manager's still busy. Then they call the corporate office and never get a response from that, and then they take it online. And that's at the point, that's where I get personally involved, be like, where is the breakdown in communication? One of the things is, two things that I actually see on my whiteboard over here is, let your people do great things. So this is not, online reputation and service is not just for the general manager. It's not for the VP. It's not just for your marketing team. It's everybody. Everybody should feel like they can do great things to make them satisfied. And the second thing is free up the flow of service, right? Have a communication plan for your teams to know what to do in a situation. Especially if you're looking at your data, you're going to see those trends of maintenance being an issue or, whether it's parking or whatever. Have a plan, communicate that plan to your team. That way, not everything has to come to the general manager.
Right. It doesn't help anything if all they're doing is asking for managers the whole time.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's just, to your point of cost, making connections, a personal connection doesn't cost anything.
No, it's free. Absolutely free.
And so
it's in your budget.
Right. It's in your budget, and it's just pressing through that initial this is a sticky situation.
Yeah.
But I think many times once the conversation starts, the conflict, it goes away.
It becomes person to person again.
Right.
Yeah. Because it is easy to hide behind a keyboard when we're frustrated. I can take everything out here because I'm just putting it on this Google page. I'm not talking to anybody.
Right.
And if we did miss those steps with it, they came to the office 3 times. They called corporate. If we missed all of those, they have every right to be frustrated. So at that point, we become a person again, and we see them as a person, and we say, "We're sorry. This was our bad."
It's okay to apologize if we drop the ball. I mean.
Yeah.
Be empathetic and understanding. Right. I think too, it's important to note that there are going to be those residents who are just persistent, and there's nothing you could pay them to live there, and they'll be upset that you paid them in a check instead of a gift card or something like that. Yeah. And so, take solace.
Everybody's different, right?
Yeah, take solace in the fact that if you are providing that excellent experience, you are addressing those reviews, and you are managing your community and looking at reputation and training your staff, that your customers, your prospects can see. They'll know the difference between that resident who just is that person who complains,
right,
versus that person who really has issues, and then you fix them.
Right.
I get that question all the time, Mark. Whenever Mark and I have done our trainings, like, what do I do if I've done everything? Well, you pat yourself on the back, and you continue to do everything, and just know that some people are not going to be pleased by anything that we do, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot in this session, and I think it's just important to note as a wrap up that we can control the controllables. And what we can control is, number one, understanding that reviews are important. Yeah. The reputation management process is important. Having a plan is important. Responding is important, both online and offline, creating connections, and then proactively asking in those key moments of opportunity for that review.
Yeah.
So we wish you good luck, and we are always here to help. If you're with Campus Advantage, you can contact Adam or Mark, and we look forward to the next